of assets, liabilities, and net worth of public officials. This decision is guided by a simple principle. The public has a legitimate right to know how those in government acquire and manage their wealth. Transparency in this area is not a slogan. It is a safeguard against corruption and a deterrent to abuse of power. As the Ombudsman has emphasized, transparency is the name of the game. At a time when trust in institutions is tested, the best way to rebuild confidence is through openness backed by concrete access to information. The office also calls on all agencies that keep official copies of SALNs, the Civil Service Commission, the Office of the President, Congress, and Judiciary, and the local government units to align their practices with this policy. Consistency across institutions is key. Selective transparency only breeds suspicion. This step is not about politics, it is about accountability. The public deserves proof, not promises, that integrity still has a place in public service. So I have with me today the signed memorandum of the Ombudsman reopening the public access of SALNs. So there are a few copies that we would like to distribute to the media, so you can go over them para pwede rin kayo magtanong.
Sir, anong number ng MC?
Yeah, ilalabas pa namin, but at least you have a copy already. Okay, so explain ko lang ng konti, no? So, the general rule is that all SALNs will be granted access to, except for several instances, and these are that the office is not the official repository, that the SALN is not on file, the request is for an unauthorized commercial purpose, that the requesting party has a derogatory record of misuse, the request is linked to a pending case to influence or harass, there is evidence of extortion or safety threats, the identity of the requesting party is fictitious, or the purpose is contrary to law, morals, or public policy. So yun po yung mga grounds kung saan pwede natin i-deny. But the general rule is that all SALNs are made public. And any person, as long as they are able to submit their proper documentation and IDs, can be given a copy of the SALN. The office that will be in charge of releasing such SALNs is called the Public Assistance and Corruption Prevention Office, if the request is made here in the central office. If the request is made in a sectoral office, it is in the Public Assistance and Corruption Prevention Bureau of that sectoral office. There is also a time for which the public official, after submission to the Office of the Ombudsman, can correct their SALNs. They can correct it after they had submitted it on April 30 for 30 days. No? So in that case, pag meron na pong na-release na SALN na kinorekt, then it is possible that we recall and serve notices that a SALN had been corrected within a reasonable amount of time. Okay. So yun po. Open to questions? Yes, ma'am.
Yanes Kapanti, GMA News Online. For the record, sir, the access to SALN does not require the consent of the owner of the SALN, because this is a requirement imposed by the former ombudsman. Thank you.
No, ma'am. As of today, and as the memorandum circular is written, there is no need for consent on the part of the public officer whose SALN is requested. The only thing that the requesting party needs to show is ID and to make sure that he is not a fictitious person, that he is indeed the person that he purports to be given the IDs. Yun lang po. And it will be granted.
Sir, can you just enumerate kung ano po yung mga kung sino yung mga public officials na ombudsman po yung may repository sa SALN? Kasi baka as I remember, President, Vice President, member, constitutional heads of constitutional offices, and members of Congress po ba, House and Senate?
Tama po yung first part ng tanong nyo na President, Vice President, heads of constitutional commissions, LGUs po will be in the sectoral areas, sectoral offices. So part pa rin po yan ng Ombudsman. However, the official repository of Congress and Senate are with their respective secretariats, which is why in the public statement, we urge them to follow suit in the policy of transparency to release as well the SALNs of those members under their institutions. The judiciary as well is lodged, the SALNs of those in the judiciary are lodged with the Supreme Court.
Hi sir, Salima po of GMA 7. Sir, how far back kami pwedeng mag-request ng SALN? Kasi ito po ay nawalan lang naman po ng access during the past ombudsman, so around 2017-2016.
So considering that the regulatory period for filing complaints under Section 11 of RA 3019 is now 20 years, then that will also be the period for which you can access SALNs even historically. So even though SALNs po nakasama doon sa previous memorandum circular in the past administration is now open for public viewing.
Sir, how do you hope ito pong mga SALN na ito na makikita na po ng publiko makakatulong dun sa atin nga pong fight against corruption?
Lifestyle check po. Dahil makikita po natin doon sa SALN kung gaano karami or kung ano yung net worth ng isang tao. Nakasulat po doon ang assets, liabilities, even business interests, no, ng isang public official. Ngayon po, pag meron po tayong mga evidence or documents to show that the lifestyle of a person exceeds or is disproportionate to that which is written in his SALN, then it can be used in any investigation of any public officer for the violations under RA 3019.
Sir, how soon can we file to request na po SALN? Kasi medyo yung date po sana.
Yes. So the memorandum circular will be released today. It will be barcoded and numbered. And 15 days after publication and submission to the UP ONAR, will it be available already for the public to request.
Sir Miko, isang malinaw nga lang na kasi baka tinatanong na ating mga kababayan, sino-sinong public officials, sir, yung pwede talagang ma-access?
Dito sa Ombudsman po, ang ma-access po natin, ang kagaya ng sinabi natin kanina, President, Vice President, heads of constitutional commissions, and LGU officials. That is within the inventory or within the files of the Office of the Ombudsman. Under RA 6713, congressmen and senators file their SALNs with their respective secretariats. And the members of the judiciary file their SALNs with the Supreme Court. So these are the institutions that we are calling on to follow suit in the policy of transparency and so that they can release as well the SALNs which are within their jurisdiction.
Sir, clarify ko lang. So, dahil po nasa ibang mga ahensya like Senate and Congress, yung repository po ng mga SALN, ito pong order na ito ay otomatiko po bang dapat nilang sundin?
Well, they have their own policies in their institutions. However, historically, when the Ombudsman releases SALNs or makes SALNs public to any requesting party, usually these institutions follow suit. So we are hoping na ganun pa din ngayon po na pag tayo ay nag-release nitong memorandum circular, yung mga ahensya po at yung Kongreso at Senado po ay ganun din ang mangyayari. Magre-release din sila ng isang policy or whatever form that may be to allow now the public to request for any SALN within their jurisdiction.
Sir, paano po makakatulong ito pong mga SALN na ito dun po sa gumugulong ng investigasyon po sa flood control projects?
Ayun po, obviously it can help with the lifestyle check to see if there are disproportionate wealth within the ranks. No? So, pag nakita po natin na ang isang tao ay may Ferrari, may Lamborghini, or may bahay sa mga magagandang lugar na alam natin napakamahal, pero dun pala sa SALN ay hindi naman nakalista doon, first of all, or disproportionate po siya doon sa sinasabing net worth ng isang public official, then it can be used now as a basis or supporting evidence to a complaint as against a person for graft and corruption.
Sir, ito po mga ito ay bubusisiin nyo rin. Like for example, yung mga SALN po ng mga kawani po ng DPWH na kasama po sa mga reklamo. Pwede nyo rin po bang silipin yun?
Opo, and that is a function that is already existing within the institution of the Office of the Ombudsman. Dahil na dito sa amin po, yung we are the official repository of these SALNs, then we can look into them motu proprio. But if there are SALNs not within our jurisdiction, we can also ask and request the institutions that have jurisdiction over these SALNs to provide us a copy of such. Para po makita po natin, kahit hindi po tayo ang official repository, we can see the SALNs of the different public officials.
Sir, isa pa pong clarification. So, for example, kailangan namin ng SALN ng isang senador. Sa Senado po kami magre-request o dito po sa Ombudsman magre-request?
That is, sa Senado po tayo magre-request noon, as they are the official repository. No? Dito po kasi sa ating memorandum circular, that is one of the grounds for which we will not grant. No? Dahil kung hindi po tayo ang official repository, we do not have the authority to release what is not ours. Kaya po, all we can do right now is urge and call on these agencies to follow suit. No? If your example alludes to congressmen and senators, then we urge the Congress and Senate to follow suit and release a policy that allows for transparency in the SALN. Dagdag ko lang din po no, na there are certain privacy concerns, as already mentioned by the Ombudsman. The permanent address as well as the details of the minor children will have to be redacted. I hope you understand that it poses a security threat on our public officials and of course for the minor children as well if we release those types of details. However, there is a portion in the SALN which states the assets or real properties of a public official. The exact location has to be published as well. So, yung permanent address lang po ang kailangan natin i-redact. However, the other real properties of the public official will have to be made public. And the details on the minor children will also have to be redacted as well. But those children who are of age, that will be public information as well as the spouse. Okay? Take your time kasi 15 days pa po eh. Okay? Maraming salamat po. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Paano po yan?
Uniformed officers.
Dito rin po ba pinafile yung SALNs nila?
Dito yan. Sige. So check po namin kung dito ba o ano.
Thank you po.